We got some climate activists, this time in Rome, behaving like children and defiling the Trevi fountain. And some people are wondering, like, why aren't they doing this in China? And the response is very simple, because China is too Chad for these people. If you try to do this in China, you disappear. You know, social justice, human rights, all of these things, they work in the West. But if you try to do it in China, you know, like these people, they respect the strong man. They respect the Xi. Secondly, it's the fact that Western governments allow for this. I mean, look at what happened in the United States with the January 6th rioters. Like, immediately they were locked up. The banks cooperated with the government so that they can see who used the credit card in Washington, D.C., so that the government can track them faster. Social media is working hand in hand with the government. Like, I genuinely do not believe that you can have a movement like this without the government allowing it to exist. I mean, we have seen during the pandemic how easy the government quashes dissent. Like, the only reason you have stuff like this is because the government allows it. Simple as. At least that's my opinion regarding these things. But more interestingly, we have seen these activists many times appearing in the last couple of months in the UK, in France, in Germany, now in Rome. They have different names, but the tactic seems to be similar. They target a certain monument, but they're very careful with what they're doing so that they don't end up in prison. Like, usually they are causing misdemeanors. Because these monuments, like, for example, when they go to a famous painting of Van Gogh, they are protected by a bullet shield glass. So the damage that they are doing is not permanent. And usually you just have a janitor that has to come clean it. In fact, I remember in one of the videos, like, one of these activists even says, it's like, why do you care? It's a bulletproof glass. Like, it's not going to do anything. To me, it shows that these people must be paid, right? So they are paid by someone. Again, when it comes to January 6th, immediately we can find out where the money is coming, where it's going, like, who is funding. But when it comes to these people, we just don't know. The money must be coming from... You know what? They may be doing this in their free time out of their own volition. But what is the purpose of the agitprop behind this? Because there must be, like, a political conclusion to this, right? Like, if it didn't do anything, why are they doing it? Because at the surface level, it doesn't make sense. Like, everyone knows about Greta Thunberg at this point. Everyone knows about my planet is dying. Like these things are common knowledge. It's impossible to even avoid this information. The UN 2030 agenda, no more gas cars, blah, blah, blah. Everyone knows about this, right? So, like, what exactly are they accomplishing? Sparking a conversation. Everyone disagrees with them. Like, on every internet forum, everywhere you go, the overwhelming majority of people, even the ones that are for the environment and blah, 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 even those do not appreciate it when someone goes to a monument and disrespects it. So what are they accomplishing? And if you look at agitprop, what they're accomplishing is very simple. You have some fringe radical extremists, like literally batshit crazy activists that are doing things which are beyond the pale. And these people are making the actual extremists look moderate, right? So, for example, AOC, when she is suggesting the Green New Deal and it's going to cost America trillions, that's a radical proposition. But if you have these people, all of a sudden, AOC looks like a moderate. So the idea is to create far fringe extremists so that the real far leftists become moderate by comparison, and people are more likely to do concessions. And this is how politics actually work. You know, like, you're pushing it to such an unbelievable extreme that people go like, well, you know, we don't associate with these guys. But, you know, if you do our concessions, like, maybe those guys are going to shut up. So that's why you see these things. And, you know, like, all this conversation is ridiculous because, again, these monuments, up until now, didn't suffer any damage. The best thing to do would be to ignore these individuals completely. But it does seem that in the case of Rome, they have stained the statue, potentially permanently. Apparently that this oil stunt that they pulled, they didn't think it through. And if that's the case, if they actually damage the monument permanently, They may be going to jail. They might be a little bit of prison time, because again, up until now it was misdemeanors, but now maybe going to jail. I'm really curious if one of them is going to start talking, like if they happen to realize, hey, you may be going for 20 years in prison, they would immediately start being like, okay, well, do you not want some information in exchange for my release? So yeah, this is the whole tactic. Let me know what you guys think, and as usual, I will see you in the comment section. Take care.